Whether it's a health issue, an environmental issue, or a geopolitical issue, there are a lot of things out there that are more serious than people realize. The problem is that quite often we are focused on the wrong ones. I'm Mike with List 25, and from human trafficking to texting while driving, here are 25 things that are a lot more serious than people think. Stress. Since it kicks your body into the biological equivalent of overdrive, you're basically wearing out your system. What does this mean? Well, like a car, you won't last as long, aka decreased life expectancy. You're also more prone to get heart disease, diabetes, and depression.
24.
Concussions. Second impact syndrome is when you get a second concussion before the first one has fully healed. The sudden swelling of the brain is usually fatal.
23.
Arthritis. Particularly rheumatoid arthritis. It's not something you can just take Tylenol for. It really changes your life. The reason for this is that rheumatoid arthritis can affect more than just your joints. It has the potential to also damage your skin, eyes, heart, lungs, and even blood vessels.
22.
Power tools. There's a reason the professionals wear glasses, gloves, etc. Just because you're doing stuff in your backyard doesn't mean you should skimp on the safety. A lot of emergency room traumas boil down to carelessness. In fact, according to the National Electronic Injury Surveillance System, power tools cause an average of 124,126 injuries in the US every year.
21.
Groupthink. More colloquially known as herd mentality, this is the phenomenon that people in large groups are actually quite dumb, impulsive, and really bad at making decisions. As Kay said in Men in Black, a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
20.
Psychological abuse. There is a common stigma that if you weren't being beaten, then you don't have anything to complain about. The crazy thing is that psychological and emotional abuse can sometimes be worse than physical abuse. From PTSD to suicide, a lot of these things can be traced back to mental abuse. Whether it's bullying, parental neglect, or emotional bribery, it can all be quite damaging to a person.
19.
Antibiotic resistance. There are now strains of bacteria that are resistant to every single antibiotic we have. That is not good and can largely be chalked up to our overuse of the drugs, and not just in medicine, but in fields as far-ranging as agriculture.
18.
Owning dogs. The amount of people that drop off dogs at shelters because they aren't cute anymore or they require too much attention can be disheartening. According to the ASPCA, American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, 3.9 million dogs enter shelters every year, and 1.2 million of them are euthanized.
17.
Diabetes. No, it doesn't just mean that you can't eat any more sugar. It means that you'll go blind, your fingers will start to rot and fall off, and you'll have to get all the blood in your body constantly replaced by a machine. And then it'll kill you. So, if you're lucky enough not to have type 1 diabetes, get out and exercise.
16.
Dental hygiene. A few minutes every morning and evening is the difference between keeping your teeth and having to get fake ones. And fake teeth aren't fun.
15.
Depression. It's not about being sad. It's much worse than that. It's the biochemistry in your brain getting all messed up. If you've never been clinically depressed, then it's hard to describe, but it's biologically and chemically impossible to just brighten up.
14.
Being alone. You think that it's calming, and to a certain extent it is, but being alone for too long will start to have some crazy effects on your brain. This is why solitary confinement is, in fact, quite brutal as far as punishments are concerned.
13.
Sleep. Especially in modern society, people even brag about how little sleep they get. Unfortunately, though, lack of sleep can lead to numerous illnesses and even lower your life expectancy. You hear that, Tristan? Get some sleep.
12.
texting while driving. It's one of the most dangerous things that the average person does on a daily basis. In fact, a good bit of car accidents can be chalked up to text messages. Imagine that. There are tens of thousands of people that are dead today because somebody had to send a K.
11.
Ocean acidification. We are on track for one of the most complex ecosystems on our planet to break down into nothingness. First to go, coral reefs. The reason for this is that the oceans are absorbing high levels of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, which has been constantly decreasing the pH. To get a little technical, this is bad because marine calcifying organisms, like coral, have a hard time forming calcium carbonate. Put simply, coral has trouble forming in such conditions.
10.
The number of prisoners in America. The US has 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prison population. There are even for-profit prisons now, and most of those people are in for minor infractions. This hurts everybody, including taxpayers.
9.
The bee die-off. Thanks to insecticides and human-caused climate disruption, a large number of bees are disappearing. This is not good considering that they are the primary pollinator for most forms of plant life. The UN has even warned that this could lead to food production problems considering that roughly 1/3 of our food supply is pollinated by bees.
8.
Mass paranoia. The idea that the world is getting more dangerous is patently false, but is very widespread. From crime to war, there is significantly less violence and death than there was even 50 years ago. In fact, in spite of terrorism, every single year has seen a significant drop in violence all around the world. We are living in the most peaceful and prosperous time in human history. It's just that with the internet, we now have all the bad things thrown in our face every day. Never mind that those things were always there, and there was much, much more of them.
7.
Human trafficking. There are nearly 30 million slaves in the world today. Of course, the world population is higher than it's ever been, but that's also more slaves than there have ever been in history. And slavery has been outlawed by almost every country.
6.
OCD. Although people who like to have things in order always talk about their OCD, it's actually quite a serious disorder that can mess up your entire life. What's more, it has a lot of comorbidity with anxiety disorders and depression. If you really have OCD, medications and therapy may be the only thing that can give you your life back.
5.
Added sugar. If you drink anything that isn't water, you are almost certainly consuming far more sugar than you should. And that isn't good. In case you're wondering why, go back and watch what we said about diabetes.
4.
Sitting. Yeah, sitting. Many jobs today don't involve much activity, and to add on to that, we sit in a car and we sit at home. Our society is very immobile. The fact is that sitting for more than even a few hours has some really negative consequences if it's done every day for a really long time. Pro tip, every hour, get up and walk around for 5 minutes.
3.
Suicide. This is especially a problem in the armed forces. In fact, more soldiers die these days from suicide than they do from actual conflicts.
2.
Diet. Since most of you out there have told me that you really don't want to hear diet advice from a fat guy, here's Tristan. Come on.
Most people don't realize that most of their post-age 30 lives will be a direct consequence of their diet and lifestyle. If you don't at least make an attempt to eat healthy, you can fully expect every year to be worse than the last.
It's true.
Am I done?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I'm working on it.
1.
Melanoma. It's the easiest cancer to prevent, but only if you catch it in time. If you don't catch it, then it's one of the most fatal. Wear sunscreen. If I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the top right corner so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these 2 videos here
or just head to our website at list25.com.